Hi everybody, I'm Dino. I'm a co-founder and CEO of GIS Cloud. So yeah, I'm a developer that turned into a biz guy or CEO. So I went through that pain and I can maybe share some of that. But this talk will be more about what we do, our product, and then I'll get also in the technical details. So how our platform is structured, what technologies we use, and show you guys some screenshots of the product. So I'm from GIS Cloud. We're a platform for collaborative mapping. So we enable organizations to set up their workflows through the cloud and then make them very efficient. So these kind of organizations, those that actually manage lots of geospatial data. So they are actually dealing with space, dealing with the world, like natural resources, like infrastructure, so like road network, trains, construction. Various local governments have, of course, lots of spatial data like cadastral or their gas lines, electricity, water, and all. So these guys are making their business on top of geospatial data. And now with the cloud, we are trying to help them collaborate and be more efficient. So why is that? Because GIS actually stands for Geographic Information Systems. So it's an established software industry, around $5 billion in size of annual revenues worldwide. And it's been around for like 20, 30 years now. And it's usually like this. So it's a tool that's very, very complex. You cannot use it without education or either courses. Even there are colleges that teaches you how to use this kind of software. So it's actually not for everybody. If you're a guy on the field or a decision maker or somebody that's not known how to use GIS, but you know how to use Google Maps, for example, we wanted to capture actually those kind of users and include them in all these workflows around maps. So we did this. We tried to fix that problem, complex problem, by a simple solution. So that's like the technology part, where we built a very fast map engine, and the platform is very customizable, but also delivers high user experience. In that way, we remove barriers for our users, where they can easily and intuitively get used to our solution, and in that way you increase traction and get them in the app using it. So by using tablets, mobile phones, and of course nice web applications, you can actually include them in those complex geo databases and make them not just view the data but also interact with the data by contributing back something. So like doing field collections or like putting all their data online. So we are connecting these people in organizations where we have guys on the field that need to do surveying, or they need to record information about potholes maybe, or record street light signs, or to do tree inventory. Then you have guys in the office who are actually managing the data. So they are creating cadastral maps, they are creating and managing infrastructure maps, so they can put their layers online with us. Then you have guys making decisions. They need to have real-time access to their data so that they can actually make those decisions and know that they have their latest version. So the cloud here is actually ideal. And of course you have community, so you have public that you want to also include in the whole process, like crowdsourcing, because it's not just about letting them know what you are doing and just giving them view access, but also to get their feedback. So with the cloud you can also get them to put data on a map. So this is where we focus on with our solution, to capture actually all these guys who could use GIS but they cannot handle the complexity. So we have a solution that consists of multiple applications we built and a platform below it that enables you to store and manage data, render maps, but also that have APIs to enable customization of our system into a solution that can be then tailored for a certain specific need. But we went in the market very wide, so because we are solving a generic problem, and that is collaboration. So that's like a common problem for all these industries that we are trying to target. So we have an app for doing data collection on a field, where you can set up a custom form, and then collect some information with your phone, and then that's being uploaded in the cloud in real time. Then there is this editor app for managing all the data, managing your databases, uploading your existing data that you have, spatial, non-spatial, where you can set up projections, how the map will look like, so you can style it. There is lots of tools there. viewer is for those guys that need just to access the map, so they just log in and open a map that somebody has shared to them, so with the collaboration it's very easy to share, of course. And then there are portals that we can use to inform the public or publish a map for the public access. Something about our history, so we started with GIS Cloud as pioneers in this space, so I'll talk a bit more later on how actually we started. So we didn't start with GIS Cloud at first, we were more in consumer space, then build it from there. But we are software and platform as a service, so it's a subscription-based business, so recurring revenue, monthly, annual, and this is our bloodline, so this is how we are covering ourselves. We are a team of 21, so it's like 10 developers and 3 sales, 4 support, 2 marketing, 1 office manager, and a chef. We got to cook as the last guy. So yeah, we grew the team organically. We launched the platform 2010, but my co-founder and I were working on mapping and this technology we built from 2005, even before. So yeah, today we grew organically to around 90,000 users in the system. So this is a B2B type of solution, so the number is good, could be better always, of course. And we have around 400 clients in over 50 countries and hosting lots of user data. Also, in the early stages of our company and the product, we took an investment from a seed camp, which is a London-based accelerator. We basically spent that money by being in London, moved 5 guys there, paying a house for like £500 a week. Crazy, very crazy. But we gained lots of experience and actually networked in the startup world, but also got really good feedback from co-founders from other companies and shared our pains together and got some good solutions. But then after that we didn't raise additional rounds, we rather decided to focus on ourselves and bootstrap the company, and then later on we can be more in control if we want to scale it up with additional funds or not. Right now we are good as we are. This is our data collection app, so it's a very global thing where we help lots of companies on a daily basis to collect data from basically all over the world. I think we got an email yesterday from some guys that want to set up a thing in Antarctica. So they were asking, will it work because of the GPS? So we'll see, I hope it will. So we started locally. This is on the left side, actually, it's a map of Rađen. I don't know, somebody from the morning said that he knows the guy who built it because it was launched 1999. So it was actually the first digital map online. So a map that you could search and browse. Because before that you would actually load maps as big scans or an image of a tourist map that you would download and then browse it like an image. So it's very hard to search, it's not interactive. So there was, I think, one article, US article, that mentioned that these guys made it first, like the first digital map. So Google Maps came in 2005, we had MapQuest, of course, before, but like Google Maps took really mapping mainstream to the masses. So my co-founder saw this map of Rađen, and then he built Moj Zagreb, which was a similar map for Zagreb, where he drew it by himself, so the entire map. Then we met during studies at Fair in Zagreb, where we exchanged, worked on some projects, and then realized that we are actually working really well together as developers. So we decided to build a map engine that could actually load already built data, so existing mapping data, into a browser very efficiently. Because before he was drawing the map, and for Zagreb it took him like 1 month to draw it from morning to the evening, so it's a very tough process. And then something changes, you need to maintain it, it's a nightmare. So we decided to use existing data, so we struck a deal with a college in Geodesy College in Zagreb, so they provided maps for Karte Gradova, which we grew. And the maps were rendering in Flash, so we built our own vector map engine that could render maps from a vector format into Flash tile, and then deliver that through the Flash very efficiently. It was very responsive. So then we scaled that to Carte.hr, which back then was quite popular. It was like 200,000 unique visitors a month, around 10% of Croatian internet. But then that was really competing against, head-to-head against Google Maps, and we realized that it's not an easy company to compete against, especially in consumer space, as they are putting lots of money in their technology and Street View, and it's crazy what they have built actually from Google Maps. So we decided to actually turn our thing more into B2B. So this is how we started from the consumer space. We actually in parallel launched our technology on a site where we got some early traction from companies or people that wanted to build their own custom maps with our stuff. So that was like the initial feedback. And then some of those customers were asking for us, okay, could you add more features around your map engine so that you can actually have a tool, that you can do something useful without any development required. So then we decided actually to build GIS Cloud as a tool. And we launched it in 2010, like I mentioned before. So these are some of our clients. Some featured clients. So these guys in Minnesota, Maple Grove, it's a small city of I think 60,000 people. So they did their tree inventory. So they want to map out all trees in their city, to have their location, to have the species of the tree, and to have information if there is any disease, which is important if you want to manage your trees, and then of course have that information to make those decisions. So they use our system, mobile app, they set up a custom forms, and they equipped the phones and give them to volunteers. In that case, there were elderly people that jumped in and wanted to contribute into their community. And then in like 2 weeks, they collected the entire information from the entire city and got this really significant data set for them to manage their trees better. These are one of our bigger clients, Orange County in California. They are using our system to manage public works. Their public works department is managing data with our system and publish maps online. Also their watershed department is collecting and doing all field work by managing their water infrastructure. So they are collecting samples of water across the county and then creating maps with that data where you have all the chemical analysis and all non-spatial data attached to those points. And then their cities in the county can log into that portal and access the maps directly from that portal. So, and also they build some apps themselves. So this is actually a client, and I didn't mention it before, so all the business that we do actually is inbound. So we are not selling or trying to sell our customers by doing cold calling or trying to find them and then spam them or something like that. We have a website and very good marketing team that is building content. And in that way, we are actually generating interest about our product and awareness about our product. And this is how we actually build the organic user base. And also word of mouth is a good thing. So there are not many players doing these kind of things, so that helped. So as well, Orange County, they wanted to do something with the cloud, and then they reached out to us. And I've set up a presentation at 3 o'clock p.m. but their time, so it was a Pacific 3 p.m., which is midnight Croatian time, so it was very stressful presentation, like 2-3 hours long, but we did it well, and they got hooked in our system and actually using it quite well. City of Amsterdam is using our system to manage their bicycle and infrastructure, so like bicycle poles and lanes. Denmark is the biggest green company managing green assets, so like trees, but also maintaining all the green areas. So they're using our system to do the field work, so that they can collect information about what they are doing, but then also that they can share that information in the company between people that need to make decisions and access that information. So they have streamlined their process with our solution. And this is an NGO from US that is doing, they're installing water filters across Africa to households that don't have access to clean water, because it's a big issue there with malaria and all diseases. So they're actually installing these filters, and then with our system they can map out which households they should install the system to, and then to have a record where they have installed it. So later on they could make an analysis and get information back, how successful they were, and basically they need to manage that data and the whole process. So this is now the more technical part, maybe more interesting one. So the platform is built in multi-layers, and so what you see below is the engine or the database and the data which is under the hood. So we built our own map engine because of the speed. We wanted to have really high-performing maps. Before us, GIS was always also a bit of linked with slow and complex maps. We wanted to solve that if you want to attract people that are used to Google Maps kind of experience. So that's one part of the system. Then the other part, for the database, we use distributed file systems. We use SQL databases like PostgreSQL, which has some nice GIS capabilities, so that you can do spatial queries and things like that. And then on top of that, we have APIs. So from the start, we built our system very horizontally. So we're not targeting any industry. But if you want to actually have a solution that can compete in any industry, you need to go vertical. That means that you need to specialize your functionality for that specific use case or that specific type of company. So we are solving that problem by having partners that can actually then customize our system into an app for a specific market. This helps us to actually focus on the platform, on the core, and not actually get locked into a vertical where it can be a good thing, so you can get good revenue from it, but then you are actually saying no to everything else. My advice is, if you are starting something for the revenue part, it's better always to focus on a specific vertical and then go to the next one, so that you can generate the revenue. It was for us quite slow actually to grow the company in a horizontal way, but now in long term we are actually making benefits out of that approach. So yeah, the REST API is the only entry point in the backend where you can manage resources like maps, layers, so each map has a layer or multiple layers on top. Then you have features which are actually records or geometries in the database. Then you can do some processing, geoprocessing, manage the storage. So REST API is the great way to actually have an agnostic approach where anybody can actually integrate with you, being from Java world, Microsoft world, any kind of language. You have REST clients for everything. But also on top of that, we have JavaScript API that can actually that is wrapping that functionality from the REST. So if I want to create a map and store it on the cloud, I can actually do it in JavaScript. I can just create a class, set up my object and populate it with some properties, and then actually call one function to save it. You don't have to work with the REST directly. And then we have various UI components also on that client side. And the whole idea is that we enable companies to very quickly build apps and deploy them, because really in like 1 hour you have built your app, you save it in the cloud, you share the link with the client, they have the app ready. You don't have to go in the process of setting up your infrastructure and deploying it in that way. So we can enable that rapid development, and the whole platform is responsive so that you have one code, web code, that can then work on all devices. So we can host data, but also application code. So this is the infrastructure. So it's on Amazon Web Services. It's good. We are now centralized in US, so all the data is in the US, but we have deployed some local installations as well. So we can just deploy the installation in Australia, because this kind of data, sometimes organizations are more security aware, like where is my data, who will see my data. There is a law that says I cannot have my data outside of my country. And Amazon has really great coverage globally, so then we are now launching these local Amazon deployments where there is a need for that. But it's multi-layered, so we have front servers, of course, then a database built on PostgreSQL, some processing servers. We are using Redis for sessions where we can centralize them and then have a central way for handling that. And using Nginx on the front to serve all the static content, and Amazon Elastic Load Balancer. The map engine that I mentioned before, so it's a proprietary thing that we built in C++. So it's a very fast component that is now tied into the web server. So it's built like a module so that we can push out those map tiles at very high speeds and low latency. And we are special in a way that we are serving vector tiles. So all the maps that you see today online, most of them now, are actually like PNG images. So when you are looking at a map, the server is generating those tiles like a grid, and each image is actually rendered on the server, so like small images that are then being tiled together into a map that you see, which is very heavy on the backend to do. So we decided actually, when we were working with vectors as an input format, why not to make it as an output format as well? So we can then like cut geometries and downsample them and make them very fast to produce. But then we are using JavaScript and HTML5 canvas to visualize those maps very quickly and interactively, so that we offload the rendering from the backend side to the client side, and that increases the speed a lot with our system. We also have a map engine for mobile, like an SDK that you can tie into your mobile app, and our mobile products are using it to have offline maps. So we built it on SQLite, which is a really nice database that you can embed with your app. Very fast, very small footprint. And also it's serving vector tiles, and then we can render maps using either Canvas or native APIs like MapKit from Apple, or we're also trying something with Android as well. On the backend side, we are using a mix of technologies. There is some legacy and technical depth in what we did, as we started very early. We started with some technologies that are now, I mean, we could probably use something more modern than PHP. But it's okay, it works, we have a framework for that, so, and Facebook is using it, so that's, I guess, okay as well. But it's like below REST API. We also have some legacy entry points into the backend that we are now refactoring and removing. And I mentioned before, we are using Nginx and Apache, and yeah, now we are also setting up sockets so that you can get that real-time UX where you can have maps, have all the interactivity with the system real-time in the browser using WebSockets. On front-end, also the legacy is a mix of JavaScript, HTML, CSS, of course, jQuery. So this is also something that we are now refactoring and rewriting into React and Redux, so that we can have something that's very loosely coupled, that we can easily maintain and extend. So the entire year, actually 2016 for us, has been this product rewrite in parallel to generating a business. So this is how the product looks like, the map editor for managing maps. As you can see, I mean, it's comparing to GIS, it's very user-friendly, but now we are trying to take it more modern even. The ribbon interface is a bit old school these days. But basically it gives you the functionality to edit maps, to set up these layers. So this is like polygon map, showing maybe cadastral data, I think, in this case, so that you can then share that map, and then somebody can edit that at polygon, change its boundaries. You can then tap on that polygon, get all the information about it, or you can visualize it. So you can say, I want to see types of land we have. So you can then classify your map, and then it will be colored in different color by each parcel, and depending on their type. So that's like the legend on the left side. It's not visible much here. The data collection part that I mentioned before, so it's used to collect, of course, data on the field, and then we have some apps that manage that workflow and enable you to create forms, but also to get reports, and things like this, where you need to manage your road signs, then you can get this kind of information and then make a quick reaction and actually fix it. We also have a system for fleet management. Lately, this is also a system for tracking people. We're playing with that as well, where we can track mobile phones and location of people. So this is a system which deals with big data, where you can trace where the vehicle or person has been, and then get some statistics, some graphs out of it. These are like portals where you can serve content to the public and then color your map according to the legend, and link also multimedia documents, anything you want with the map, and make it very user-friendly, searchable, so something that you easily set up. And there are some like analytics where you can make analysis of your data, like for example, in that case where we had trees, we could analyze where the concentration of diseases among trees. Then maybe you can identify some patterns and realize that there is like a disease spreading on, and this is the hotspot, so there are some analysis you can do, like this heat map. And styling so that you can really tweak the map in any way you want to make it beautiful, make it really a map with high user experience. Also, you can load your rasters like high resolution imagery, but being drone data or data that you already recorded or ordered to be recorded by the planes. And if you want to go inside, we also have some cases for that where we support rendering of CAD drawings, so you can load your AutoCAD files and then also georeference them and put them on a map with all the other data. Yeah, so that's like it. Any questions?
Wow.
How revolutionary is this, what you're doing in this space? Do you feel as though as an entrepreneur that you are revolutionizing mobile app and web development using this technology that this algorithms that you created and put together?
Yeah, with the engine we did actually innovated in that space. Now the industry is catching up. But yeah, I mean, in the, let's say, GIS, what we are doing is disrupting. It can be called maybe a revolution. And maybe it's like the first step where these kind of systems can be now included or deployed in the entire organization. Before you had the GIS department, two guys that knew how to use that software, and then they were printing maps, and then it's still like something that's very common. Now we can include everybody, so it's like, let's say, Google Docs comparing to Office desktop.
It's I mean, rather than revolutionizing or disrupting, it's more enabling technology. You enable the users, those who really need GIS, to get access to it for their work.
Yeah, so we can like get more people involved, and yeah, we are not like trying to displace existing GIS or all the systems that they have actually bought, and usually it's actually quite expensive. But we are sitting on top of it and then extending that data and the use of that technology to the rest of the people and organizations.
Yeah. I have one more question. You can put a question mark in the end. Chef?
Oh, chef? Yeah. Yeah, so like we were in London in the start and always trying to have really good culture, very close. So then we were actually cooking for ourselves when we were living there, so we had like a deal where one cooks for everybody else. And it was like a small team building we did every day, and a good way to eat good food. But then when we tried to scale that, when we got to 20 people, it was it would be hard to do the cooking that day when it's your turn. You would actually need to cook the entire day. So then we decided to actually hire a cook. So we have a dedicated cook, and we built a small kitchen, and she's really amazing. She is like, when we do the interviews for that position, we got different type of people, and usually our vision was it would be like our chef / mom that would take care of us, something like that. Do like sarma but then this lady applied, and we just saw her Instagram profile, and then when we saw the kind of food she was making, it was instant decision.
So is that like breakfast and lunch, or what is that?
It's lunch. It's 1 o'clock.
He's already hungry. Just talking about it.
I didn't eat today. Yes, yeah, in the office.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other question?
Yeah, I have one more.
Come on.
Customer education, how big of an issue is that? How do you handle it?
You mean like support or?
Yeah, initial.
You mean onboarding?
Like
onboarding. Yeah. Yeah. So we have this inbound process. When people sign up to our system, we are unlocking everything, so giving them full access. But also we have an inside sales team, so guys that are actually tracking every day who has signed up today, and then next day or in 2 days they are actually reaching out. So we try to catch the user very early in the process of discovering our product. Sometimes we also get these, we call them out of the blue conversions, where they just buy it. But usually we are involved in the process and we want to help them and realize what they are doing. So this is also helping us to be aware of what kind of users we are having, what is their perception of the product. So our actually sales is actually selling by helping. And we also have a support team that is always online, and you can always get help. In that way you also can do upsells. So we are very inclusive with the communication with our customers.
And it's all remote, right?
It's remote, yeah. With the US, I'm doing tours or somebody from the team, let's say once a year. And now our future and where we're thinking to invest more is in the US company, where we want to build it further and have actually local people there. Because of the time zones and actually making larger accounts and deals, you need to be face to face. That's common, I think, everywhere in business.
I have one more.
They do, but
Yeah.
I'm scared.
What web browsers do you support, and what kind of problems do you have supporting? Are you supporting only major web browsers or Internet Explorer?
Yeah, 6.
Yeah, 6.
We did actually support 6 quite a while. No, I think we are supporting 10 or 9, IE10 or IE9. But I'm not tracking that much now. So it's maybe like 2-3 versions in the past. But yeah, it helped a lot when we actually decided to kill the IE8 support. So now we are supporting all browsers that can do HTML5 canvas rendering. So on mobile that will be all browsers, I think, the major browsers.
You mentioned HTML5. You're currently using HTML5 for rendering the maps.
Yeah, the canvas.
Canvas, yeah. But what kind of solution you had before? The PNG tiles?
No, before we had Flash.
Oh,
So originally we were actually producing vector Flash tiles. Because before HTML5 that was the fastest map vector engine you could have, and it worked great on all browsers. We use that in Carte.hr still today. But yeah, when 2011, when HTML5 canvas was actually getting more traction in HTML5 in general, we decided actually we saw that Flash is not going anywhere, there is no future, and then we decided to switch, which helped a lot because then we got instant support for all mobile devices, everybody were counting on HTML5 and canvas, and it's really, really fast.
Any other question? No? Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.